What in the world? I don't think I've ever seen one of these things before. The Dominator Detonator fan cake? What in the heck is that? Okay, I've got a Dominator Detonator 12-shot cake here. So those are 2-inch tubes. Whether they're really 2-inch shells, I don't know. You know how it goes in the pyro world. But they're 2-inch tubes. And I'm going to take this straight up 12-shot cake and convert it into a fan cake. There's the outside cardboard box removed. I'm going to take all the tubes apart off the base and remove all the fuses. As I pull the fuses out, I'll cover up the holes in the tubes with some tape so I don't lose any lift powder. Okay, so there's all the tubes separated from the base, all the fuses removed, all the fuse holes taped up. Yes, I'm doing this in the house. I know that's considered poor form, but it's 100 degrees outside. I'm going to glue these tubes onto this cardboard sheet. I put a block of wood here to bottom them all out so they're all at the same level at the bottom. That block of wood is just freestanding. I'll take it away after I glue them up. And because these corners of the tubes aren't touching solid, when this thing fires off, it's a possibility that the plugs might want to try to blow out. I might possibly put something underneath of them to prevent that. But most fan cakes, if you take them apart, the tubes are just raised up like this. Of course, most fan cakes, the tubes are a lot smaller. I'll put tight bond wood glue on there and then flip it around and glue it down to the cardboard. I'm keeping the fuse holes oriented so that I can fuse this up the same way it was fused in the regular cake. I'm just eyeballing the V pattern on this. I didn't calculate it or lay it out with a protractor. I put the glue on there. I'll turn it down. I'll wiggle it back and forth to smear the glue around and then push it down against the cardboard and butt it down against the bottom wood block. So those are loosely glued in place. I'll let the glue dry for an hour or two, and then I'll go back and put some glue fillets in, just like you would do with model rocket fins, to strengthen that a bit. And I'll make up 4 of these fan slices and then glue them all together to make a fan cake. Okay, so here's the first 2 rows that I've glued the tubes onto their cardboard and put the fuse. This opening here, it's here somewhere. I'm going to put an E-match. So that's glued together. Here's the next row. I just have to cut the cardboard and put the connector fuses and glue it up to the other stack here. And I'll have a 12-shot fan cake that I'm using fairly quick fuse. This stuff's about 6 seconds a foot, roughly. So it'll be a fairly quick fan cake that's going to go across, across, and across. So there's the glue on the last row. I'll take the 2 rows and put them on there. Get them lined up. So all 3 rows are flat on the surface. And now just set that down to dry. And after that dries, I'll box this whole thing up in cardboard. All right, well, here's the finished product. I took my straight up 12-shot Dominator cake and converted it into a fan cake. I made 3 rows. I glued the tubes down to these cardboard fans. And if you do this, don't make the mistake I did. I just eyeballed each one of these individually. Go ahead and make a template so that all your fans are the same shape and size. Because when I got through, I don't know if you can see the twist in this, but since these fan edges didn't line up, I actually have a twist in this cardboard. And I had to be creative about clamping and gluing that to get this cardboard glued down to these tubes. And the same thing applies here. It's not terribly evident on video, but this is not a flat planar surface because I didn't make these individual cardboard fans off a template. I just eyeballed each one and then, glued them all together at the end. Then I put these end pieces on, these end pieces of cardboard. This duct tape was just used to hold this cardboard in place while I glued it. And I just didn't take the duct tape off. So there's a piece of cardboard here that I glued onto the side, and the duct tape was, in essence, acting like a clamp. And then under here, I've got a port for my E-match. Or if you wanted to, you could put a fuse in there, but I shoot with E-match. So there's a 12-shot Dominator fan cake. One thing I could see possibly going wrong with this, these outer fan tubes being tipped up. The base of that tube is cocked up like this, so it's not supported. And, fan cakes are made like this all the time, but not necessarily with 2-inch tubes. So I'm hoping when these outer rows go off, they don't try to blow their plugs out. I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see how this thing goes. Well, I went ahead and added a bottom to this thing also. I just took a piece of cardboard and flipped up a couple edges under, then folded it up and made another edge. Secured it with tape and glue. So that should be pretty secure. Hopefully that'll hold together and we'll have a good outcome. Well, I couldn't leave well enough alone, so I went ahead and slapped the detonator label on there. That was actually came off the top of the cake. I just cut it off and stuck it on the side there. It's not important, but I had nothing better to do. Well, it wasn't necessary, but just for decoration, I took a piece of the original box and got it on there on the side of the cake to make it look a little nicer. Oh, what the heck, since I said I don't have anything better to do, why not just put a nice, pretty little top on it? Okay, that's it. I'm done fooling with this thing. We'll see how it shoots.